I hope you're all having a wonderful day and welcome back to my channel. This is the first video I've created since I've gotten married. It's been a very long time since I filmed, and I am filming in the new house that I'm living in with my husband, Joel. We are still in the process of moving though, so it's pretty chaotic. I literally just cleaned up this little space of the bedroom. Everything else is a complete disaster, but I've skillfully tucked it away into the corners so you guys can't see it. I've also been filming a video on just the whole entire process, like when he bought the house, all the things he's done. He has truly just done an amazing job, and it's all been him doing the updates to the house. I've helped up with cleaning and sweeping along the way, but it was truthfully all him and his dad and some of our family and friends that have helped out as well when it comes to doing this huge house remodel that he got done just in time for us to move in after we got married. So that's been a pretty big reason why I haven't filmed recently, is I literally moved everything from my last house over here last weekend, and it's just a disaster because there really isn't a ton of space for all my stuff, and I realized I have a lot of things. So I've kind of gone through a whole stage of just decluttering and getting rid of things. So yeah, that's why videos may or may not be kind of consistent. I'm going to try to keep filming, but I have not filmed, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to film in this room here right now. I literally have a stack of books holding up my camera right now, and I hope nothing happens to it. I feel like this is the good old days. I'm using natural lighting. I have this nice big window in front of me, and I'm using a stack of books. This is literally how I started creating videos on YouTube. So lots of good memories. But what I wanted to do today is just kind of give you guys an update, mainly an update on Trichotillomania, which is something that I've talked about on this channel. It's something I want to talk about more on this channel. At this point, I do feel like in some ways it's kind of repetitive, but I actually created a playlist of all my videos talking about it. And I really only have 3 videos over the course of my entire channel. So I feel like, you know what, I could do more talking about Trichotillomania, my experience with it. If you guys are unfamiliar with what that is, I've had this since I was, I want to say about 10 years old. And basically it is an body-focused repetitive behavior. The categorization of Trichotillomania has changed over the years. I believe when I was a kid, it was considered an OCD disorder. Then it became an impulse control disorder. And then now it's categorized as a BFRB, which is body-focused repetitive behavior. Basically what it is it's a behavior in which I pull out my hair. Mainly for me, it's my eyebrows and my eyelashes. And so I really wanted to talk about today just my experience with that and give you guys an update. I know on my other videos where I talk about this, you guys have been asking me for an update. I also want to do a redone, well not redone, but do another video, show you guys how I apply both false lashes when I have none, and also do my brows as well because they are pretty sparse. So today I'm just sharing my experience and talking about what's been happening in the past couple months and how that I believe that that's impacted my experience. Again, this is both just to kind of raise awareness about Trichotillomania and also just to share with you guys my experiences, as I believe that it does do a great deal of help when I talk about Trichotillomania on my channel and talk about things that are really important to me, such as that, or even mental health. I do also struggle with that as well, and I just think it's really important for me and for my channel. I want it to be a fun place where you can talk about beauty and Disney, but I also want to talk about things that are really important as well, because I just feel like there's just not enough people out there talking about that. Also, Joel is doing some work on the house right now, so I'm gonna try to just film around him making those sounds, but I don't know what he's doing and how long he's doing it for. So if you hear that in the background, that's what's happening. He's doing something to the house. I believe he's basically prepping the house for paint. So that's what's happening currently if you hear that noise in the background, which now it stopped. So we'll see how long I can film for. Anyways, so one thing I've recently discovered with me in Trichotillomania, I've noticed I've learned a couple different things this past year. I feel like this past year has been really informative for me and very healing, and in many ways of Trichotillomania. And I feel like I'm getting closer and closer to the point where I just feel more accepting of myself and accepting of having this behavior. And I know for some people it does come and go, where maybe they can be healed from it, or maybe it just kind of goes away. I know there are people who have it way worse than I do when it comes to the extremity of it, and to the point where their hair doesn't grow back. It just really ranges for a lot of people. At this point, I've kind of come to terms with the fact that this might be something I deal with for my whole life, and I'm okay with that. I feel very fortunate to have family and friends who love me, and especially Joel. I can tell, like, when he tells me, like, he does not care if I have eyelashes or not, like, totally believe him. Like, I truly do think that he doesn't care how I look, and that does really help me a lot. And I know some of you guys from commenting on my past videos, you might not have someone in your life that's like that. Your family might not understand it, and they might shame you for it. And I've definitely gone through those stages of when I was first trying to figure out what it was when I was a kid. There was a lot of don't do that and stop doing that. And I think it comes from a really good place. I know that my family always wanted the best for me and always wanted to help me and just didn't know how to help me. And I still honestly don't know how to help myself with it. I don't know how to tell people, like, this is what you need to do to help me. So I'm still trying to figure that out. But I feel like this last year, I've really started to connect the dots more on it. And I feel like thinking through when I have a harder time with it has really helped me out a lot. And even just figuring out the whole categorization of it being a body-focused repetitive behavior, because there's other things that are like that fall into that same category that I also do slightly, or I know people that also do that to more than I do. Like, for example, nail biting. I feel like that's so common, or biting your nails or picking at your nails. I feel like that's pretty common. I also, like, sometimes will bite the inside of my cheek, not like an extreme amount, but I will kind of like gnaw on it, like as a, like, I guess as I'm just bored or whatever, if I'm like focusing on something. And that's technically also categorized underneath that. That really helped me out a lot, because I realized, like, wow, these are things that, like, I thought were pretty normal. Like, yeah, some people do it, some people don't, but I just kind of consider that to be more normal than pulling out your hair, like biting your nails. I feel like a lot of kids go through a phase where they bite their nails. Maybe not, but to me, it, like, seems that way. For me, knowing that this is similar to that, or whatever causes someone to want to do that might also cause me to want to do what I do, just made me feel a lot less alone. And I feel like with these videos and just talking about trichotillomania really helps, like, a lot of people. It helps me just reading the comments from people who watch these videos and say, hey, I'm also struggling right now too. All that being said, I feel like one of the things I realized this last year was BFRBs and understanding that, and that just really felt like enlightening, just to learn about all these other things that also are similar to trichotillomania. And another thing I kind of realized for myself is I kind of go through a cycle where when it comes to just experiencing it, and it's almost like a rhythm. And that really helped me out a lot this winter, because I've learned that for me, normally, under normal circumstances, I would say, is I tend to get my lashes and brows fuller during the summertime, and then as the fall rolls around and the winter time, I tend to have a harder time with trichotillomania. I tend to pull out my brows, my lashes, and I notice this mainly because I go skiing in the winter, and it seems like every time I go skiing for the past couple years, I've struggled not having eyelashes. And I really notice this because when I'm skiing and I don't have eyelashes, my eyes get really dry. Like, even with goggles on, they get really dry. And so that's how I've kind of realized, like, wait, this has been happening for me for the past couple of years at least, where I've not had eyelashes during the winter time. And what I realized for me, especially doing like YouTube videos and specifically doing that and doing like makeup tutorials, I feel like the need for those types of things and the pressure kind of increases in the fall, because you have like back to school makeup tutorials, or back to school things, or back to school fashion things videos, and then you have like the October, which is all Halloween related. You can do October, for me at least, it's like you could do Disney videos about going to the parks during Halloween time. You could do makeup tutorials. And so I just feel like there's a lot of pressure, specifically in what I do when it comes to creating videos and wanting to be a content creator. I feel like I'm really putting pressure on myself to think about like new ideas and different videos. And then after that, you have Thanksgiving, but then you also have Black Friday. So there's that rush of just wanting to get good deals. And then after that, right after that is like the holidays. So it's people wanting to buy presents. And I do see, not only for myself, but in general, when it comes to accounts that I follow that do similar things, there's definitely a huge influx when it comes to, sorry, Jill's working on the house. There's definitely a huge influx when it comes to just content. And I feel like that doesn't just impact the people creating the content, but it also impacts the people seeing it, because they're seeing all these different things. They're seeing people do all this stuff for Halloween and then for fall and Thanksgiving and buying all these things. And I know for me, even just as a viewer, I feel the need, like, oh my gosh, I need to have this. This is the latest and greatest thing. Or, oh my gosh, I need to, like, I want to buy that cute outfit for Christmas or Christmas parties. Like, just this need to, like, be getting more things, and consumerism, I just feel like just starts to peak back up in the fall. How this makes sense for this video is I feel like after seeing this pattern, I think the stress of all that, both as someone who creates videos and creates content, and also as someone who is a consumer, I think my stress, my anxiety, and maybe things that are correlated with having trichotillomania starts to kind of rise during this time as well. And so I think that that's what causes me to struggle even more, and that's what causes me to pull out my hair more during this time. And I've noticed after kind of that subsides, and when I'm out skiing and doing active things, I am not pulling out my hair. I tend to pull out my hair more when I'm like sitting in traffic in the car or at work and I'm just kind of like focused. Or if I'm like watching TV in the evenings, it tends to be during times where I'm not really doing a whole lot. And obviously I can't really like pull out my hair when I'm skiing or I'm going on hikes or doing things. So I feel like in the springtime, I'm starting to do more of those activities, and then in the summer we're out doing things. So I feel like when I'm doing activities, you know, that don't allow me to be sitting at home a lot and just not really doing a lot, that allows me to have like this opportunity to grow my hair back. So under normal circumstances, very doll. So I'll just wait. So under normal circumstances, I think that's true. However, we're not in normal circumstances right now. And at the moment it doesn't look like it because my brows are microbladed. My brows are like barely there. There's barely any hair there. And my eyelashes are the same. I'll actually zoom in, aka me. I will sit closer so you guys can see there's just like barely any hair there. You can't even see it move when I do that because again, there's like no hair there. And really, thankfully, I got my brows microbladed last year. So what you're seeing is the microblading really popping through. And that's what's creating that like almost shadow. But otherwise, like if I didn't have that, there wouldn't be anything there. And same with my lashes. Like, I don't know if you guys can see. This might be too close for this lens. But I have little baby hairs kind of growing in. But otherwise, I've like completely wiped out my lashes. I was doing really well this year in the sense that this eye, I was able to concentrate on this eye and allowed this eye to still have a full set of lashes. But within the past like couple weeks or past month, these two have just gone. For our wedding on May 23rd, I had a full set of lashes on this side, and then this side was pretty full. I'd say it was 3/4 of the way full. And I tried really hard for that. But yeah, right after that, with everything happening in the world, I just feel like that's kind of where I've taken it out on myself. It's just my lashes. I still have a little bit of my lashes underneath, so I'm starting to create like holes there. So anyways, that's what it looks for me right now. I was talking to someone about this yesterday when I was bringing this up on Instagram and talking about how I've been struggling with this lately, and I was saying something to her, and it kind of like sometimes when I'm explaining something, sometimes it'll click for me in different ways. I feel like this really resonated with me. It just kind of came to me, but I was thinking about how first of all, love the Enneagram test. I'm a number 7, and I feel like I relate to that very much so. And I've learned a lot about myself just through understanding that. So if you guys haven't taken the Enneagram test, it's a personality test, and I feel like it helps me understand other people really well. So anyways, that's been like the one personality type test thing that I feel like I've like really identified with and felt like it makes sense to me and helps me understand others, even though there's tons of different types out there. But anyways, I'm a type 7, which means that we like to find joy in things. We're super spontaneous. We love adventures. And I feel like also part of me is this desire to always want to be joyful and happy. And I kind of shame myself when I'm not feeling that way. And another thing I also feel like connects with me is the movie Inside Out with Disney, from Disney Pixar. And the first time I saw that movie, I actually did not like it at all. And that's because I feel like deep down, it really resonated with me, and I didn't want to accept it because I feel like I'm the same way. I feel like I just let joy shine through, and I try to suppress the other feelings, very similarly to how in the movie Joy wants to be kind of like the main one running the show. But at the end of the movie, spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, obviously they realize that like all these other emotions are equally as important as joy, and it's okay to express them at different times. And when you suppress those other feelings, it doesn't really work out. And you can see throughout the movie, things get broken or things change because joy is trying to suppress the other feelings. And I feel like for me, that totally resonated. I'm the same way. And I feel like I just try to suppress my sadness, my anxiety, and by doing that and by trying to keep pushing and to keep thinking like everything's okay, I just have to keep getting through this day and just kind of like forcing myself on overdrive and not giving myself the time to kind of rest and recuperate. I think that comes out in different ways. I think that comes out through trichotillomania for me, and then also through like my anxiety. I feel like I have forced myself to continue to be on social media even when it's draining, because I just think it's really important to be aware of what's happening in the world. And because of that, though, I feel like that's really caused my trichotillomania and my anxiety to definitely increase. And so obviously the past couple months I have pulled out all my hair. But I think for me, it's important to understand the like why behind, I think, why I like pull out my hair, even though it's not something I feel like I can control. It's not like I'm gonna just pull out my eyebrows today. It's a really strong, intense behavior or desire to do that, and it's not something I can. If I'm in the middle of a pull session where I'm just pulling out all this hair and I'm kind of like in the zone, it's very hard for me to break that. So I don't think it's something that I can fully control in the moment, like once it's happening. I think there could be things I could be doing beforehand that could help with it. But I think it's really important for me to understand what's causing me to feel the desire or to have this behavior. Because there are obviously times where I do the behavior less that I've noticed, and times where I do it more. And I think times where there's a lot of like pressure, whether on me or just in society in general, I feel like I struggle with it more. Understanding that helps me better give myself grace when I realize like that's probably what's causing it. And same with like anxiety, and like I've had a couple of different panic attacks, and it's been a lot. It's been a lot to do all this stuff and then move and then work from home, and we're trying to figure that out. And it's a very small house, and having me and Joel work from home is a lot. And I think that there's just so much going on like in my personal life and in the world, and I just think altogether it's just really hard, especially when we're all craving some normalcy. I know for me, I've always kind of like put working from home on this pedestal, like, oh my gosh, it'd be so great if you could work from home, and then like, you know, because you have to commute, and there's so many different things, like I could wear like sweatshirts all day long and all these different things. And I thought like, oh, if I'm working from home and all this pandemic stuff, I'll be able to film all these videos and do all this stuff. And I don't know if you guys have ever talked about this, but I've been working a full-time job or been a student full-time the entire time I've had my YouTube channel. So there hasn't been a period in which that YouTube was my only thing I was doing. And so I've always had to go to work or go to school and then do this either in the evenings, on the weeknights, or on my weekends. So I haven't been able to fully dedicate a lot of time to YouTube like I'd like. And so I thought like, oh, maybe if I'm working from home, I'll have more time for YouTube. But then after I'm done working from home, it's even harder to have that distance of like work life and home life. And so I just feel like once I'm done, I'm just like, I don't want to do anything. I just want to lay on the couch. I want to watch Love Island. So anyways, it's a great show. Been loving that. But anyways, it's turning to more of a life update. But I feel like that's connected to my trichotillomania. I feel like my life and the things I'm experiencing definitely impact it. And the biggest thing for me has been really learning and teaching myself to give myself grace when it comes to these experiences and behaviors. And instead of beating myself up when I see that like I don't have any hair, because I naturally, and anyone that experiences trichotillomania naturally feels shame about that, because having hair is beautiful, and you're taught that eyebrows are beautiful, and that's really trendy right now. Having thick, luscious eyebrows is beautiful, and having full lashes is beautiful. And I think there's times where those trends are not as important. Like I know in the 90s it was like thin brows, but right now it is. And so like, especially when it's trendy to have thick and full brows and lashes, it's even more so shameful when you don't have that. And the reason you don't have that is because you yourself pulled them out. Finding ways to give myself grace and to not beat myself up on it really helps the cycle, because I found that if I feel ashamed about it, it actually makes me want to do it more because I have all these negative feelings. So I've been trying to get better at just recognizing what may have caused it. So for me, understanding like, hey, this is probably just effect of dealing with whatever's going on in the world right now, and I'm gonna get my hair back. It's gonna be okay, and just not really shaming myself for it. Also gives me a really great opportunity to film videos like these, because I don't feel like I need to talk about it as much when I'm not struggling with it. And at the same time, I can't really film videos showing you guys to the fullest extent how to basically fill in your brows if I have them. So I will be filming some videos. I actually recently got this Milani. This is I bought this This is their weekend brow. It just came out. My friend Safai, who's also on YouTube, you guys should go check her out. She's amazing. I will link her down below because she's an amazing creator. And actually, I saw this because she got a, I think, sponsorship with them. And she did a post using this product and it looked amazing on her. And so I went and bought it. And I have it in 2 different shades. I have their brown shade and I have their espresso shade. It's a darker shade. I used the brown shade yesterday, but I feel like it didn't really show up. But the darker shade, it's basically a black shade, which matches my hair color. It's really fine. It has a really fine tip. And it's not like a felt tip. It's like a little, it's brush. But I feel like sometimes with these, like, I have the Urban Decay Brow Blade that I really like, but I feel like this is even better than that. Sorry, Urban Decay. But I think this is my new favorite brow product just because when I used it recently, it looked like I had brow hairs. It basically, I could create the effect of microblading with it. And especially using these 2 together, I use this one as more of like a base. So it kind of added some dimension. But I couldn't stop looking at myself yesterday because I was playing around with it and playing around with just these 2. I didn't use a powder or anything underneath it. And it looked like I kept psyching myself out because it looked like I had full brows and it was so cool. So I'm gonna be doing a tutorial with this for you guys and showing you guys, doing kind of like a review. So I will be filming a video kind of showing you guys how I cover it up because even though I obviously film videos talking about my experience with Trichotillomania, I feel like there's obviously gonna be days where it's just easier to look at yourself in the mirror if you're not just staring at what you had done, you know? So I definitely do cover up my brows when I'm lacking them. And I do struggle with covering up my brows. Like I'm doing makeup looks, having brow products that allow me to continue to do makeup, but also don't make it too challenging because I do have to do different techniques when I don't have brows. And there's a lot of things I feel like I take for granted when I do have my brow hairs and it makes it so much easier. And same with lashes. If you have full lashes, you probably don't realize that, or really think about it too much, that when you're applying false lashes, you're basically putting them right on top of your normal lashes, and you really, a lot of what makes them stick or look good is when you clamp them or mix them together with your normal lashes. But if you don't have lashes, it's very hard to maintain that shape, and it's very hard also to find lashes that look very natural. So I will also be doing, now that I don't have lashes, I'll be doing a tutorial or a video showing you guys how I apply false lashes. So I'm trying to find silver linings in this because these are videos and things I wouldn't be able to really show you guys or talk about to the same extent if I did have full brows or full lashes. So I'm gonna try to take advantage of the situation and be like, you know what, I don't have lashes right now, but you know what, this gives me an opportunity to film a video that I otherwise couldn't. So I'm trying to find the benefits. But anyways, this is a very long, rambly video if you guys are still watching, but I feel like it was important to talk about, and I want to continue to talk about these things on my channel. I love makeup and Disney and beauty and all those fun things, but I also think it's really important just to hear that, you know what, you're not alone if you're struggling with this, or if you're struggling with anxiety. I've had so much anxiety just from like moving and having to do this new life transition of being someone's wife, like very different. I've heard it said very often that the first year of marriage is very difficult. I can see why now. Love Joel. It's been great. But having this tiny house, that's another thing too, is I need to give myself grace because most people when they get married don't jump into living with their spouse in a house that's, I think our house is like 890 square feet. It's pretty small. But most people don't move or jump right into, you know, getting married and then seeing that person and pretty much only that person 24/7 all the time. And so I'm trying to remind myself of that because I just feel like sometimes it's like, I love Joel, we get along great, but it's just a lot. And even just learning about like when he works, he needs to have like absolute silence. And normally I wouldn't work with him ever because our jobs are completely different. And so like, but I do have to since we're all working from home and he's just like right on the other side of the room. So it's just trying to figure out both living together in a smaller house and also working together as coworkers and not really seeing a whole lot of people because we're trying not to like go out and do things with the pandemic. So I keep reminding myself, like, this is not real marriage. This is not real life. This is just a very unique circumstance. And if you can get through this, you'll be good. So yeah, I just feel like there's been a lot going on. And I think it's really important to talk about like, hey, you know what? I'm having a hard time too. Because I feel like people like to put on a happy face, which is really great. And I totally understand that. But then as I'm like scrolling through social media or going on YouTube and seeing people having the best day ever, it just makes me feel like, wow, like if they're having a great day, like why aren't you? So I think that that's why it's important for me to share about that. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope it was helpful in some way. Whether or not you experience or struggle with trichotillomania, maybe you have a BFRB, body focused repetitive behavior, and you've also been struggling with it, or maybe you're just feeling really cooped up and just need to hear that you're not alone. I hope it was helpful in some way. Thank you guys again so much for watching this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!